All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Susie. I'm from the organization FastFeet NYC, and we provide adaptive running programs for kids and young adults in New York City. And today I'm really excited to chat with Lauren, who we have here, about nutrition, sports nutrition, and eating as a young athlete. So Lauren is a runner, she's a running coach, and she has her master's degree in nutrition and dietetics. And she's a mom, so we're really lucky to have her here with us today. She's going to give us some great information and insights. Lauren, I'm going to just let you introduce yourself a little bit more, and then we'll get started with our Q&A.
Great. So I'm Lauren. Thank you so much for having me. Like Susie said, I've been running for quite some time now, and it's a big passion of mine. So I decided to take that to run coaching. And then I've just finished my master's degree in Westchester County, right outside of New York City, in nutrition and dietetics. And my field specifically is sports nutrition to work with running athletes. In my previous few years, I did teach elementary school, and I coached little 3rd through 5th grade athletes. That was a lot of fun. And then I ran New York City last year for Girls in the Run. So I like promoting kids running, and I have a special place for that in my heart. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sure. And, for everything Lauren just mentioned, she's the perfect person for us to talk to today. So we're going to get just right into it. My first question is, can you explain the difference between sports nutrition and just nutrition? So how can we eat for performance and then also health?
Right. Okay. So to understand that, like you said, you need to eat for health, and that's kind of a general overview. And then it translates slightly for sports nutrition, but it's basically the foundation is the same for both. So we want to have a well-balanced meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and this should include a carbohydrate, a protein, and fruits and veggies. So each meal should have all of these things. You should have kind of a colorful plate and a well-balanced plate. As an athlete, you probably want to have a little bit more carbohydrates, because those are that's how your body gets fuel and energy. So the carbohydrate is broken down into sugar called glucose, and that's what feeds your muscles and gives you energy to get running and go fast and things like that. So the best sources of these are whole grains. So that would be like whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, brown rice. And then there's some tricky veggies that actually count as carbohydrates. So that would be great sources as well. And that would be like a sweet potato or corn or something like that. So athletes definitely need a large amount of carbohydrates to fuel their exercise. So a low carb thing is not the way to go for athletes, majority. And then protein, obviously, that helps us build our muscles. So that's very important for an athlete. So you want to make sure to get that in every day. And then your vitamins, minerals come from your fruits and vegetables. So just trying to have that well-balanced meal as much as possible will kind of cover all your bases.
Okay, great. Thank you. So kind of stemming off that, the majority of FastFeet runners are youth athletes. So, 18 and under. What are some, key pillars or, nutrition ideologies that we can keep in mind when we talk about, nutrition for youth athletes?
Yeah. So kids, obviously, they're growing, they're very busy, especially youth athletes. So as they expend all this energy on a daily basis, they need to make sure that they're replenishing as much as possible. So these kids don't want to be skipping meals or grabbing a Pop-Tart out the door, something like that. They want to have nutritious meals that will fill them up and give them the energy they need on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's just in making sure to include all of those categories and making sure that if they're expending more energy, they're eating more as well. So after a heavy workout, you might want to have a little bit of a larger meal and let your body recover a little bit more. And then rehydrate. So as we get warmer, you'll be sweating more, losing more fluids, and then it'll be important to rehydrate. And I just want to note that, kids, they drink a lot of sugary beverages like sodas or juices or Gatorade. They don't necessarily need those on a daily basis. You can just stick with water and that sort of thing. Milk, for kids to grow. But Gatorade is good for replacing electrolytes that are lost. So if they're out there on a hot day and they're sweating and they lose a lot of salt through their sweat, then Gatorade can help replenish those sort of things. So that's a good use for that.
Okay, that's a really good tip. And like you're saying, a lot of our fast feet runners, they live really busy lives, especially pre-COVID. So they're going to school, they have track practice right after school, maybe they have additional therapies, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy that they're attending, in the evening or on the weekends. So a lot of them are very busy on the go. We live in New York City, so many times we're on the subway, running from here to here. How can our runners kind of structure their eating or their meals throughout the day to keep their energy up for all these activities, but avoid any, stomach issues for an afternoon track practice?
Right. Yeah. So I think planning is key, especially when you're, going from one place to the next and maybe you're not stopping somewhere in between or have no place to stop in between. So, and understanding that nutrition is what fuels our life. So it's really important that we get healthy foods on a daily basis throughout the day. So when understanding that, you need to see that you'll want to wake up in the morning and get a good nutritious breakfast before you leave the house. So like I said, not grabbing a Pop-Tart or a cookie or something running out the door. But if you can wake up and have time for some eggs or some oatmeal or cereal with fruit and nuts or something like that, to just plan these things out a little bit more. And, it is important to have those 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then for kids in school, maybe their lunch is very early or very late, and you want to put a snack on whatever side that is. So if they're eating lunch at 11 o'clock, maybe you save your snack until 2 o'clock because you're hungry, because you ate lunch early. Or if you leave your house at 7, you ate your breakfast, and you don't have lunch until 12 or 1, maybe you want to have your snack at 10 or something. So just something quick, put it in your backpack, put it in your bag. And then I honestly would just recommend taking a few different a day. As a super busy kid going a bunch of places and an athlete, having those snacks on hand is very important. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay.
So for those snacks, can you give us any recommendations or, pre-run, post-run snacks that you find are just easy to have on hand, easy to travel with, and something that kids, kind of gravitate towards?
Right, yeah. So also it's important to know when talking about pre-run snacks. So let's say you have a 3 o'clock practice in the afternoon. Maybe try to have your snack an hour before, and that will give you time to let it get in your system, start letting it digest, so it's not sitting heavy, like you mentioned earlier, on your belly, so that you're not feeling gross. You probably don't eat too much within 30 minutes of your exercise. If it's if you're hungry and you don't have, and you're about to start running in 30 minutes, you can have a little something, but keep it very light.
Yeah.
So I have a few items here, and I would recommend to have these 60 to 90 minutes before your exercise, so an hour to an hour and a half. So something like a peanut butter sandwich or a banana, rice cake and peanut butter or almond butter, applesauce and nuts, fruit, like a protein bar, like a fruit and nut bar, carrots and cheese sticks or hummus, something like that.
Okay.
And then for post-run, you can have something to replenish you a little bit more, so it can be a little bit heavier because you put out all that energy. And it's nice to replenish with some other nutrients as well. So maybe like a veggie smoothie or a fruit smoothie, hummus and carrots, If it's early in the morning, maybe you want to go home and have pancakes. That'd be fine with some nut butter and some banana or something. You can do one of those fruit and nut bars again, maybe like a turkey wrap with some veggies included. Maybe like a bean and cheese burrito or trail mix or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Those are some really great examples, and sounds like in there's something that everybody will like. So after those examples of snacks, how would you, or could you give us an example of a great day of eating for a youth athlete who maybe they have track practice at 3 or 4 p.m. They want to make sure they're keeping their energy up and have 3 meals and a snack, for this day. Could you give us an example of what, maybe an ideal day of eating could look like?
Absolutely, yeah. So let's say you wake up at 6 o'clock, you get ready for school, you have breakfast at 7. Maybe you have 2 eggs and a slice of whole wheat toast and some orange with water, or a glass of milk. And then you have that later lunch. So you're going to have a snack at like 10 o'clock and maybe have an apple with peanut butter or almond butter.
Okay.
And then a lunch could look like a turkey sandwich with some lettuce and tomato, cheese if you'd like, maybe a side of carrots to have a little bit more vegetables in there, and then maybe some pretzels to have carbohydrate to fuel you throughout the rest of the day. And then maybe you are a little bit hungry before your track practice, so some nuts or a cheese stick or both of those, something light but nutritious to give you some energy. And then track practice, 3 or 4, something like that. If you think that if you'll be able to go home and have dinner right away, then I'd say you don't really need anything, so you can go home and your mom and dad will have dinner there for you. Something like maybe chicken tacos on corn tortillas with a bunch of veggies in your taco, avocado for some good healthy fats, and maybe some black beans or something like that on the side, or a salad on the side. But that way you're getting your protein in your chicken, your vegetables, in your taco and your avocado or side salad, and then carbohydrates come in the tortilla and also beans. So well balanced.
Yeah. That's making me hungry. It sounds good to me. So we do at Fast Feet have, a number of athletes who are older adults. So let's say in their 30s, their 40s, even their 50s. And they will join Fast Feet to, be a healthier person, to lose weight, and to try to get a handle on their diabetes. So many of our adult athletes, might struggle with, some health issues that come along with inactivity or, maybe being overweight. What are some easy tips that we can give them to try to help them achieve their goals nutritionally?
Okay. So for adults as well as kids, you want to have focus on those well-balanced meals. You want to eat throughout the day, not skipping any of your meals. And then if you are specifically running for weight loss, or you are looking to have some weight loss, I would say make half your plate veggies. So then that's a lot of vegetables that you're getting, lots of great nutrients, and then it's also filling you up a little bit more. So you're not trying to fill up on carbohydrates and starchy veggies and things like that. And you're not eating too many portions of meat or protein and carbohydrates. So if you really focus on getting in as much veggies as possible that are filling you up, so you're not hungry throughout your day, but you still get those good nutrients. So that'd be a tip that I have for weight loss for individuals with diabetes. It's really important that you're, checking before, during, and after exercise, checking your blood sugar just to make sure you're good to go, everything's safe, and there's no big fluctuations. So I would recommend having a carbohydrate snack before you run, again, an hour-ish before, a simple carb so that it gets in your system and it will be there when you're running. And then if you run at kind of a moderate pace, at like a light to moderate pace, and where you're able to chat comfortably, and you're still, putting out some energy, but you're not really wearing yourself out, then your blood sugar should not have those huge crashes and fluctuations. Yeah, so kind of keep it comfortable and easy. You're still getting exercise, you're still benefiting from it, but you're not going to put yourself in more danger or harm. But then also when you're running, you probably should keep some sort of simple sugar glucose with you, like a little gel or some sort of snack with you just during all your runs to make sure everything's safe.
Would a Gatorade be helpful, or is that not enough?
Yeah, that'd be good, but I would also keep just a little snack. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so my next question is about, calcium intake for youth athletes. There seems to be, a recent trend of like steering away from, cow milk, and you see a lot of people buying oat milk or almond milk or cashew milk. How important is it, for children, under 18, they're still growing? How important is it for them to receive calcium, and maybe what are the best ways for them to get it?
Yeah. So calcium is still highly important. That part didn't go away. So even though the trend is shifting a little bit, getting that calcium is very, very important for kids in general, because that is what makes their bones strong, and then what lays the foundation for strong bones later in life.
Mm-hmm.
And then also specifically for athletes, they need that calcium so that they're more prone to stress fractures or broken bones or something like that. So you're being very hard and heavy on your body, and you need to give yourself the nutrients so you stay well through the whole process. Some of those alternative milks are fortified with calcium, and some are not. So that would be something that you need to look at if you're not doing dairy or cow's milk. Obviously, you can get a good amount of calcium from dairy products, but if you choose not to, like I said, check. I think almond milk is fortified with calcium, so that's a good one. I don't think oat is, so that's something to read about, like on the label. It should definitely tell you. But then other sources, leafy greens, broccoli, those sort of things have a lot of calcium in it already. There's tofu that can be like calcium packed, so it can have more calcium put into it for tofu, and tempeh. And then you can also do like enriched cereals. So a lot of kids, just like breakfast cereals will be enriched with a lot of items, and calcium is one of the things. But to go like more fresh items, definitely greens, broccoli, anything leafy green like that has tons of calcium.
Okay, that's good to know. Plus more vegetables. All right, so my last question of the day is, surrounding our wheelchair athletes. So we have a number of fast feet participants who are in a wheelchair. Are there any specific dietary recommendations that, maybe they should be mindful of, or, might help them? Do you have anything,
Yeah, I think having a steady amount of protein in your day is very important, because you don't want to have any excess muscle wasting if you're not walking as much or anything like that. So trying to keep up your protein intake and your muscle building would be very important. And then if you have an extra hard workout and you're extra fatigued, incorporating some protein at the end of your day to help your muscles recover, because say you used your upper body a lot that day, they would be extra fatigued and you need it to recover as soon as possible. So having like a protein in the evening and allowing that process to work overnight as you sleep would be very good.
Okay, so before bed protein snack, and just really emphasizing protein, throughout the day. Yeah. Okay, that's really helpful. All right, so Lauren, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for answering all of our questions. I think this is going to be a really helpful resource for all of our youth and our adult athletes. And I'm sure if they, have any questions, they'll continue to reference this. if anyone has any questions for you in particular, what's the best way for them to reach you?
They can email me. I am very active on my email, and then also on Instagram. So either of those areas you can reach me at.
Okay, email, Instagram, great. So I'm gonna put those in the description under this video, so they can just click those and yeah, contact you.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
All right, well, thank you, Lauren. I really appreciate your help and everything that you've brought to us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.